Streets reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News report, man. Make sure you support the movement at blackfilesnews.com/shop. Get you some paraphernalia, you know what I mean? Wear around your hood, raise the consciousness level up of those other around you and of yourself too. When you look in the mirror, you see yourself on video in these photos, you dig? So, also just visit LPAI, LPAI. Let's post about it, blackfilesnews.com on the website. That actually is a social media forum that we have where we could share documents, upload videos, and do whatever we need to do to get our point across and have some real conversation and heavy dialogue about some real pertinent shit as a people, as a community, hip-hop community, black community, you know what I'm saying? All love, all communities, you know what I'm saying? Everybody get on LPAI and let's post about it. Now check this out though. There's actually, the Washington Post has reported that there was a plan by the White House to actually send 650 million masks out to the people, you know, out to that many households. This was in April. Actually, there's a draft of release that was scheduled, and it actually said that the first shipment was expected to be there April XX. You know, leaving the actual date of April leaving that out. But nevertheless, the Post reports that they were gonna do it, but Mike Pence, Vice President of the United States, actually said that it might cause concern or panic, and they didn't want to do that. So, and he might not be missing the mark with that, but keep it real. But nevertheless, this is there's actually one study out by the Center for Economic Research Policy where there's actually they concluded that in April and May alone, widespread mass use would have saved 40,000 lives from the coronavirus. Greenwald graduation. Streets reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News report, man. The coronavirus still catching wreck in the United States, apparently, according to the numbers. We're approaching a death toll of 200,000 right now, with 6.6 million confirmed infections of COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2, that Rona. You know what I mean? Make sure you check out BFN Report broadcast number 17, that Rona, aka Rona, that coronavirus song, and check that update on the origins of it, and then compare that to where we at now. Very crazy times over in New York City. The mayor at Bill de Blasio, and this is, you know, a very large public school district, they actually delayed in-person classes until at least the end of September due to, like, you know, the rises. Obviously the coronavirus fears, so you have teachers actually protesting about, you know, safety measures for that, as well as you have the staffing shortage. Greenwald graduation. Streets reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News report. So the New York Times is actually reporting that the recommendation that was put out by the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, and they actually had a letter that was saying that we should scale back coronavirus testing or whatever. Well, it turns out this wasn't even written by scientists. This was actually written against their, you know, hard objections to put that publishing. Where last month they changed this on the website, the recommendations for people. It basically is saying if you don't have any symptoms, then you don't need to be tested for COVID-19, even if you've been around somebody who's been infected. Now, on the website you see like basic scientific errors, which leads you to believe that, like, all right, well, this was done by like a political operative, and rather than somebody who was like an expert on infectious diseases. And there was a federal official that actually spoke with the New York Times, not named, but was saying that, you know, that letter came from the top down, like it came from like the Department of Health and Human Services and the White House Task Force. So there you go with the Republicans. It's like, it's real easy to believe that with these coronavirus numbers that, like, man, they pumping them up or whatever, but there's all this proof that shows that these motherfuckers is trying to play it down. Like, this is crazy. You can't make this shit up, people. Greenwald graduation. Streets reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News report, man. Yo, these Trump folks love suing people. That must be a strategy on some crooked billionaire shit that's over my head or something. But like, they stay suing people for like the craziest shit. Like in this case, Trump's personal lawyer, Mark Kasowitz, he's actually suing a bunch of Stanford professors and researchers because they signed on this and published this open letter denouncing the qualifications of Scott Atlas. Scott Atlas is a colleague at Stanford who's now advising Trump on how to deal with the coronavirus. He's actually currently pushing Trump to do this herd immunity strategy that just lets people get infected and hopes for the whole community to like then become immune to it or whatever. Which according to the Washington Post, which could result in like the death of millions of Americans due to this shit. You know what I'm saying? So this has big implications, and they signed this letter. In the letter, they basically said that first off, dude is a neuroradiologist. Like, he's not an expert on infectious diseases, but nevertheless, they said like the stuff that he was recommending doesn't align with reflect sound epidemiological reasoning, and that like his the stuff he's putting up, it also is inconsistent with the current body of work on COVID-19, like in the science community. So they would just had to basically separate themselves from the fuck shit that he's actually out there in the government doing. And Scott Kasowitz is suing them because he says they're maliciously defaming his client Scott Atlas, but obviously that sound like some bullshit. They just covering their tracks, right? As you should, but everybody different. Green Wall and Graduation. Streets reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report, man. Make sure you support the movement at blackfoxnews.com/shop. The link is in the Instagram bio. If you're watching this, or go to blackfoxnews.com/shop and type it in your URL. You can get yourself sweaters in different colors, shapes, and sizes, and match any type of swag, anything colorful, or any color you got in your closet, like on everything, man. Check it out though, dude. Like, don't take my word for it. Like, see it for yourself. You feel me? And support the movement how we support y'all, giving y'all that real. For example, coronavirus cases globally have officially topped 30 million now. So that's a lot of people that have caught coronavirus, but still not even 1% of the global population. But it's alarming. Nonetheless, over in India, population 1.3 billion, actually had 96,000 coronavirus case infections in the last 24 hours, and right now they're on set to actually surpass the United States within weeks in coronavirus infections. So India is becoming a little hot spot, like crazy. Over in the World Health Organization though is warning how there's like a wave going through Europe right now of coronavirus infections, and it actually has to do with not only the fact that there's more comprehensive testing, but also just more community spread. So with 300,000 infections happening across the continent in this past week. Green Wall and Graduation. Streets reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report, man. I know it's getting dark out here, but as long as you can hear what I'm saying, it's really about what these words are talking about, because this economically, coronavirus has like done some real damage to the United States. You have in this past week 860,000 unemployment claims. Since the pandemic began, 60 million jobless claims have been made. That is a new record. Now, on the flip side, you have the nation's billionaires have actually netted 845 billion since mid-March. That is a 29% increase in their net worth, according to the Institute of Policy Studies. So obviously a clear disparity in livelihoods and being able to survive some shit like this. A crazy transfer of wealth is going on. You know what I'm saying? Like right in front of our fucking face. And you actually had a new poll that was done by NPR, National Public Radio, and some researchers at Harvard that basically showed that this pandemic economically hit communities of color the hardest, obviously with as you would expect, but the numbers show it now, with 72% of Latinx communities, 60% of Black communities, 55% of Native American communities reporting financial hardships with trouble paying for like food, water, and rent. Green Wall and Graduation, though, shit real. Streets report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. I know it's getting harder to see me, it's dark out, but you know, as long as you can hear what I got to say, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm giving y'all that real. Like, for example, a lot of games being played around this election shit where a federal judge in Washington, Stanley Bastian, actually blocked the changes that the U.S. Postal Service, the USPS, were actually trying to make under the direction of Postmaster General Louis DeJoy and President Trump, where they were basically the changes that they were made were like slowing down the mailing process, and were actually calling for it was clearly going to make affect like the election. Basically, he actually accused DeJoy and Trump of a politically motivated attack on the efficiency of the postal service, and actually said that what will happen would result in voter disenfranchisement. So this comes as Trump is on Twitter, and that's why I got my petition, get Donald Trump off Twitter. You can find that on change.org, or it goes change.org/peace/get-Donald-Trump-off Twitter. This actually goes into why, because he's on Twitter talking about how like the November 3rd election result may never be actually determined, which is what some want. And then Twitter flagged his ass and put out information on how mail-in voting is safe and legal. So like, our own, what direction are we headed at as a country when our own president is playing these type of games on fucking Twitter? Green Wall and Graduation. Streets report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in Bolivia, remember that's the country in South America where they have the ousted president, Evo Morales, indigenous to the land. He was ousted last year, and it's been after a soft military coup. Basically, they pressured him to resign, even when they like called up on the radio station, like calling for him to resign. So the military, that is. So anyway, once he left his position, Janine Áñez actually put herself as like the interim president, and she has currently suspended her campaign to be the actual president for the presidential election on October 18th. This is somebody who rose to power after Evo Morales was out there, and her reign was marked by like a crazy increase in military and police repression and violence against indigenous communities and supporters of Evo Morales. Morales is on the run. Last time I remember checking, he was in Mexico, but I'm not sure where he is today. Green Wall Graduation. News report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So Alexei Navalny, this is the Russian opposition leader, very vocal critic of Russian President Vladimir Putin, and as well as the Kremlin. Alexei Navalny, he actually said on Thursday that they found traces of a banned nerve agent known as Novichok in his water bottle at a Siberian hotel about last month, that he had drank from and ended up falling ill while on a plane back to Moscow, Russia. Now, so people believe he was poisoned on the plane. It happened at his hotel room, according to the German scientists there. When he was poisoned, he survived the poisoning, but he was airlifted to a hospital, and right now currently is recovering after just getting out of a coma days ago. So, shit is real for, the opposition leaders out here. Stay woke. Green Wall Graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report, man. Make sure y'all keep supporting the movement at blackfoxnews.com/shop. Get you some gear, some paraphernalia, different color, shapes, sizes, everything to match the swag and the gear and the colors in your closet and in your drawers and dresses and all of that, man. But definitely check out blackfoxnews.com/opportunities. Also reachable through the link in the Instagram bio. But that lays out the internship positions that we have, positions we're looking for, and all the advertising deals and packages that y'all can do and get money with Black Fox News. We should continue and support us as we continue to support y'all, man. All interaction and energy is welcome and appreciated. Now, going on to Trump, he has a 26th
sexual misconduct accuser, and Amy Gorin, who said he forcibly like tried to kiss on her and was like molested, like, you know what I'm saying, like just groping her all over, all crazy, in 1997 at the US Open tennis tournament. And Shorty said she actually interviewed with The Guardian, saying that, you know, he like shoved his tongue down her throat, you know, grabbing her tight, like groping her like forcefully, and she actually had to like use her teeth to get his tongue out her throat. Now this is the 26th woman who's accused Trump, our celebrity in chief, of sexual misconduct, and more than a dozen have actually accused him of sexual assault. This falls kind of under this assault category, but it's like, man, how many chances we gonna give him? And it's hard to even try to think that the woman is lying, because, you know, he's shown himself to be a horn dog like this, like that famous Access Hollywood incident when they taped him back in 2005. He's talking about how, like, you know what I mean? Oh, I better get a Tic Tac in case I start kissing. In case he starts kissing this girl that's about to interview him or whatever, some pretty white girl. And he's like, yeah, you know, when you're a celebrity, like, I don't even ask anymore, I just kiss them, like, you know, just whatever. And that's the same incident where he was talking about grabbing him by the pussy and all that. So, you know, how can you not believe? Do you really believe Trump didn't do it? Like, I don't know. Green Wall Graduation. Before the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. Had to bring this shit indoors, you know what I'm saying? But still gotta give y'all that word to let y'all know what's happening out here. For example, I'm gonna give y'all that news that everybody ain't gonna talk about, but should be talking about, should be putting at the front pedestal, on the top pedestal, or at the front page, or whatever, because these are groundbreaking stories. For example, over in Florida, you have a lawsuit that's with 15 prison inmates in there, women prison inmates in the lawsuit, alleging that at Federal Correctional Complex Coleman in Florida, this is one of the largest correctional facilities in the country. They actually have a huge sexual violence and assault problem there at the guards. There are actually 6 guards already who've actually admitted on government recordings to actually partaking in the sexual assault, and none of them have actually been prosecuted. Some were they were either just allowed to resign or retire. Some are even still receiving benefits. One even worked at the prison until 2019. So this is crazy. But you have women talking about how, like, they've been threatened with, like, being transferred to prisons that are even worse if they spoke out and didn't comply with the desire of these guards. So, you know, real wild, you know what I mean, freaky shit, you know what I'm saying, freaky nefarious shit, wickedness, you know what I'm saying, iniquity, and, you know, motherfuckers gonna see their time in the day. Green Wall Graduation Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So there's actually been immigrant rights advocates have actually come up with a report that shows an alarming pattern of human rights violations towards women who've actually been like asylum seekers that were pregnant or postpartum. For example, there's one incident, there's one incident, Guatemalan woman who was actually forced to give birth next to some trash can while still having her pants on. So you can imagine how, like, fucking funky that whole process is, right? There's another instance of a Honduran woman who was actually expelled to Mexico while she was having contractions. So complete disregard for life to me in this scenario. I mean, how can you say it's not? Nevertheless, this is all coming as that story I told y'all about before in Georgia is moving at the Immigration Detention Center, where that doctor is over there performing hysterectomies on women without their consent. So human rights atrocities, like, at this with this immigration shit, you know what I'm saying? And you really shouldn't just discount them just because they're not from the mainland United States of America. I mean, that's some xenophobic shit, especially when a lot of times they're fleeing conditions that are detrimental to their health and existence, and were set in motion by, like, actions of America. Green Wall Graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So in the House of Representatives, they actually passed the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act. And people from both sides of the aisle, you had 100 Republicans actually join the Democrats on voting for this bill, where they basically are calling on employers to make reasonable accommodations for workers who are pregnant. It's as simple as that. Now, people are calling for the Senate to actually take up the bill and calling on, knocking on Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's door. But dude is busy, trying to take care of Trump's judicial nominees. 8 of whom have actually been appointed to lifetime judgeships within this past week. Greenwald and Graduation. Report out of the world on the Bishop Grady, let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. Yo, stories like this piss me the hell off. Not only because they're happening, but also because in the greater scheme of things, like, people try to ignore the fact that these police brutality situations against black people actually do take place. And it actually is some racist fuck shit. Like, for example, over in Utah and Salt Lake City, you have Nicholas Pierce, a cop who's actually been charged with felony aggravated assault after while he was apprehending Jeffrey Ryan. Dude had the 36-year-old black man. Dude it was on his knees with his hands in the air, and body camera footage from Pierce shows him calling on the K9 to attack the black man, which left him with damage and severe nerve damage in his leg. Now that's crazy because you on camera and you still had the fucking audacity to violate the law and sick your K9 on somebody who was defenseless. You know what I'm saying? And if convicted, he could face up to 15 years. Good for that motherfucker. Hope they give him. Hope they air his ass out. Greenwald and Graduation. News report of the New World Order. Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. Now this is where you MAGA motherfuckers lose me, especially the ones that are so bent on convincing the people that Trump isn't racist. But then he goes on shit like this, where he's speaking at the National Archives Museum in Washington. He's basically talking about how the schools are teaching toxic propaganda, and he's gonna set up like a patriot education plan to combat these left-wing propaganda tracks. Like he's even quoted as saying, speaking about how, like, the left-wing rioting and stuff that's going on today is a direct result of decades of left-wing propaganda being taught in the education system. And he even said, like, propaganda tracks like that of like Howard Zinn, who want to make us ashamed of our history. Howard Zinn put out a history book, the American history. I mean, that it really goes into, it dissects like the Americans' dark history. A lot of high schools will have their students read it or whatever. So it's like he's actually a staple. Like he's a professor. Like he's solidified in the academic game. So for Trump to call him out, you just have little to no regard for what the academics or the scientists really say. And secondly, this all seems centered around slavery, which is a huge deal that Americans, white Americans, you racist motherfuckers, are really going to have to deal with. Like, why don't y'all just call it out what it is? Y'all not trying to acknowledge it because y'all don't want to give up y'all country. Y'all rather, see black people like fail and perish. You know what I'm saying? Then we could get, pull the knuckles out, pull the weapons out, and just get it on. Instead of all this whitewashing, no, he ain't racist. Like, he absolutely fucking is racist. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gotta come to the truth of that. Greenwald and Graduation. This report of the New World Order. Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. Now, 2 more executions, are actually scheduled for next week to take place at the U.S. Penitentiary, in Terre Haute, Indiana. One of the people that are on federal death row is Christopher Villalba, who's actually going to be put to death on a federal stage for a crime that he committed when he was 19 years old. You know what I'm saying? Real scary shit. Now, Villalba actually had a message to give out to the people where he was basically saying how, that basically trying to plead with America to really take a good look at, death row and abolishing death row. Because he's like, 13% of the country is black, but they're making up for more than half of the people on federal death row. And that, basically like, the Democratic Party claims that they want to abolish the death penalty, but when it comes to the subject of federal capital punishment, no one's anywhere to be found. There's no activists, abolitionists, none of that. No lawyers and none of that on international media when it comes to the subject of this federal death row. Yet these people are being paraded to the federal death house right now, and that is fucking deep, and that is so real. I'm not sure what point that the president is trying to prove. It would seem like they're trying to show themselves as being more killer than a lot of other powerful war-driven countries out here, and that would make America no different. War-driven. I mean, look at the military-industrial complex we got here. You know what I'm saying? Some shit we just really got to check about ourselves. But this right here, this is savage shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not in the cool way how we say it amongst ours. You feel me? Like more in like in a real beastie way. Like motherfuckers need they heads chopped off before they chop yours off. We ain't on graduation though.